None of you understand. I'm not locked up in here with you. You're locked up in here with me.
John left Earth of his own free will. Rorschach was caught committing murder. Where's the conspiracy?
The story of Watchmen, chapter I begins where chapter I left off, in a dark alternate 1985 America. Masked vigilantes, formerly government-sanctioned heroes, have gone into retirement, haunted by grief, regret, and political fallout. Their uneasy peace shatters when one of their own, a government-linked hero known as the Comedian, is found murdered under mysterious circumstances. This triggers a chain reaction of conspiracies, suspicion, and fear as former comrades discover that being a hero may now make you a target. In the wake of the comedian's death, distrust blooms among the heroes, tensions run high, and the world edges closer to nuclear war. In this second chapter of the adaptation, the focus sharpens on several main characters: the brooding vigilante Rorschach, aka Walter Kovacs, the haunted yet idealistic Nite Owl Dan Dreiberg, and the conflicted former heroine Silk Spectre Lori Juspexake. After Rorschach is arrested for the murder of the comedian, Nite Owl and Silk Spectre compelled by loyalty, conscience, and lingering doubts, emerge from retirement to investigate deeper. The once retired heroes confront their inner demons, societal distrust, and external danger as they struggle to uncover who is orchestrating the deaths and whether a larger, more sinister plot is in motion. Meanwhile, the all-powerful yet emotionally distant Dr. Manhattan remains exiled on Mars, wrestling with his alienation from humanity and the burden of what it even means to be human in a world on the brink. Throughout chapter I as Nite Owl, and Silk Spectre I dig deeper. Revelations begin to surface. The assassination of the comedian, the attempted killing of Ozymandias, and the exile of Dr. Manhattan are not isolated events. They are all part of a larger conspiracy, targeting the entire network of former heroes. The body count rises, paranoia spreads, and trust becomes a liability. As more former teammates fall, the reality dawns: someone powerful is orchestrating this purge. The moral lines blur as alliances shift, loyalties are tested, and the survivors grapple with existential questions. What does justice mean when the world itself is unstable? And can truth survive when exposing it might bring even greater destruction? As the mystery deepens, the stakes escalate beyond personal vendettas. The conspiracy they uncover threatens not just individuals, but the fate of humanity. Nuclear war looms between superpowers as political tension surges. The heroes, scarred, uncertain, weary, find themselves racing against time to expose the conspiracy before it triggers global catastrophe. In doing so, they confront a terrifying question: to save the world, how much morality are they willing to sacrifice? The climax of Watchmen, chapter I delivers a gut punch. The conspirators behind the murders and the looming threat are revealed, and the heroes are faced with the dark truth. Unveiling the truth would likely lead to massive bloodshed and global chaos. After much debate and internal conflict, Dr. Manhattan, with his godlike powers and detached perception of time, delivers a grim verdict. Exposing the conspiracy may satisfy justice, but it would doom countless innocents. In a moment heavy with regret, resignation, and stoicism tinged with sorrow, Manhattan argues the truth must remain buried if they wish to preserve life. The remaining heroes, Rorschach, Nite Owl, Silk Spectre, I must reconcile with that decision. Moral absolutism gives way to tragic pragmatism. As chapter I closes, the final scene echoes the unresolved tension of the original graphic novel. The world moves forward under a lie, the conspirators' secret intact, and millions ignorant of the price paid for their safety. Yet the question lingers, was justice sacrificed for peace, and can humanity ever truly be safe when built upon deception? The ending doesn't wrap everything neatly instead. It leaves the audience uneasy, unsettled, and contemplating the cost of the greater good. Behind the scenes, Watchmen, Chapter II, is part of a two-part animated film adaptation of the seminal graphic novel by Alan Moore and illustrator Dave Gibbons. The adaptation is directed by Brandon Vietti and scripted by J. Michael Straczynski. The film stays remarkably faithful to the source material, preserving much of the original tone, dialogue beats, and moral complexity that made the comics legendary. The animation is handled by Studio Mir, and the production is a collaboration of Warner Bros. Animation, DC Entertainment, and Paramount Pictures. The voice cast includes talents such as Matthew Rhys as Nite Owl II, Sackhoff as Silk Spectre, Titus Welliver as Rorschach, Michael Cerveris as Dr. Manhattan, and Troy Baker as Ozymandias. The film's score is composed by Tim Kelly, whose music underscores the tension, tragedy, and moral weight of the story. Chapter I runs approximately 89 minutes and was released digitally on November 26, 2024, followed by 4K Ultra HD and Blu-ray release on December 3, 2024. For fans of the original comic, Chapter I delivers much of the closure that adaptations often shy away from. It preserves key themes that made the original work so enduring: the murky nature of morality, the tension between justice and pragmatism, the flawed idealism of heroes, and the idea that sometimes the greatest enemy isn't a villain, it's human fear, desperation, and the choices we make to survive. The animation captures the gritty, bleak aesthetic of the 1980s era Cold War America that the graphic novel depicted, and the world-building remains grim and oppressive, perfectly suited to a story where heroes are as broken as the society they once tried to protect. Critical reception of Watchmen, Chapter I has been largely positive, with praise for its faithfulness to the source material and its ability to translate the comic's complexity into a visual medium. Many viewers and reviewers highlight the voice acting, atmosphere, and pacing, especially noting that while Chapter I had a slow burn setup, Chapter I delivers propulsive storytelling, building tension steadily toward the shocking conclusion. The film is regarded as one of the most substantial entries in the canon of animated superhero adaptations. The narrative doesn't pander, it doesn't simplify. It forces viewers to question the nature of heroism, justice, guilt, and the heavy cost of truth. The release of Watchmen Chapter I also brought some exciting updates outside just the film itself. A full soundtrack album has been released featuring compositions by Tim Kelly, including the main title, tense themes for pivotal scenes, and music that captures the tragic grandeur and moral weight of the story. For fans who care about audio as much as visuals, the music underlines just how carefully crafted this adaptation is. It's not just a retelling, it's an experience that respects the source material's tone. The adaptation's arrival on streaming platforms, making the two-part film accessible to a broader audience, gives both longtime fans of the comic and newcomers alike a chance to experience the full scope of the original story without having to scour back issues or track down physical editions. For many, this animated version represents the most faithful adaptation, yet one that doesn't shy away from the darkness, the complexity, or the moral ambiguity that made the original graphic novel a landmark. In sum, Watchmen Chapter I brings the final act of the legendary story to life with a blend of gritty animation, haunting atmosphere, moral complexity, and emotional weight. It doesn't offer easy answers or tidy resolutions. Instead, it demands reflection. What is the value of truth when the price of it may be human lives? Can heroism survive in a world broken by fear and betrayal? And when push comes to shove, does saving the world always mean losing a part of your soul? If you're looking for a version of the story that honors its source and isn't afraid to ask the hard questions to portray heroes as flawed, tragic, conflicted beings, rather than idealized paragons, Watchmen, Chapter I stands as a powerful, uncompromising adaptation. It lays bare the darkness in heroism, the fragility of truth, and the weight of choices when consequences are global. And it ends not with triumph, but with uneasy silence, a perfect reflection of a story that never promised hope, only honesty.